You're listening to the Geek Awakens, where the talk is geekier than memorizing the entire periodic table of elements. Here's the host himself, it's Mitch.
I'm so proud of you. You didn't stutter this time.
I know, right? I'm kind of excited. Also joining us is Matt.
Now, that periodic table, does that include the new elements?
You would ask that.
I would.
Jerk. And I'm the producer, Pickett, right here. Let's get this party started.
Yes. Sorry, I was away from the microphone for a second. Yeah, we got a ton of stuff to talk about. First thing I'm going to talk about tonight is actually something that was announced earlier today. DC announced via Entertainment Weekly that they're going to reboot or whatever 4 comic book series based on Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Among them, you've got Scooby Apocalypse, The Flintstones, Future Quest, and Wacky Raceland. All these are going to start up in May. And
Nice.
The whole Scooby Apocalypse thing bothers me already.
Why does it bother you?
Because I am a huge Scooby-Doo fan. Like, I have all 3 seasons, like the original episodes, none of that Scrappy-Doo garbage. None of the team-up crap.
There is nothing wrong with Scrappy-Doo.
There is everything wrong with Scrappy-Doo. He's a whiny little punter.
Power! You know who'd be a great person to talk about this, who's not here tonight? Chuck. He hates Scrappy-Doo with a passion.
I think I'm like one of 3 people on the planet who liked Scrappy.
I mean, he's annoying, but I didn't hate him.
I don't hate him per se. I could just do without him.
So what'd you think about the pup named Scooby-Doo series?
Yeah, I really wasn't a huge fan of that either.
I had completely forgotten about that until you just said that.
Like, I really pretty much just stick with the classic. Although the new one that's airing on Cartoon Network right now, pretty decent.
Well, they kind of tried to take it back to the roots a bit.
Right.
But
Which, that's what bothers me about this quote-unquote reboot. I mean, the fact that they're calling it Scooby Apocalypse. There's nothing apocalyptic about Scooby-Doo.
Well, there's going to be.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's according to this like description or whatever, it's like a nanite virus that transforms the world or whatever. What gets me about What gets me about Scooby Apocalypse, and did you guys both see the drawing?
Yes, I saw the image. That's part of what's bothering me right now.
I don't know how I feel about them turning Shaggy from a hippie into a hipster.
Yeah, I don't know what bothers me more, that or the fact that they have weapons.
I actually have not seen this yet. I want to look this up right now.
Like the picture I'm looking at, Daphne, it almost looks like a rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Like an RPG.
And Fred's got like tribal tattoos, so there's that.
Yeah, he's just going to have the barbed wire around his bicep.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that originally Fred was going to have a tap-out shirt, but they decided to go with classic white.
Wow. So he's got a tribal and an ascot.
Right.
That makes sense. Totally. What is...
I'm going to kick his ascot. This is ridiculous.
That is such a bad joke.
I'm
I'm going to pull this up here so I can... Oh,
Yeah.
my.
There's the whole image.
Okay. Have you...
What is Scooby? Is he like Deathstroke?
He looks very... I don't know if you've seen the whole picture, Mitch.
Yeah.
He looks very Deathstroke-esque.
He's got like a bionic eye.
It's like a monocle. I mean, I don't know what's happening. What is Daphne holding in this picture?
Looks like some space-age rocket launcher.
Shaggy is definitely a hipster with the sleeve. Tattoos.
Well, the sleeve and the curly mustache.
Hey, I tried that out for a bit.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No, but
Here's my question.
That's so not Shaggy.
Is he still going to talk like Shaggy? I mean, obviously he's in a cartoon. But are we going to hear the Zoinks and the Jinkies from Velma? I mean, these are important things here.
They are important.
No, dude. Zoinks was so last century.
Yeah. Oh, man.
The sad thing is that as as a fan of Scooby-Doo, and having gotten my 4-year-old hooked on Scooby-Doo, like he and I could sit and watch classic Scooby-Doo all day long. We go to the comic book store on a monthly basis. I mean, we go all the time, but when we go, he looks for his Scooby-Doo comic, and he picks it up off the bottom shelf, and he gets that included with whatever I'm getting that week. So I'm going to keep an eye on this, but
I might have to pick this one. I'll probably at least pick up, the first edition or whatever.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Issue 1 and just see how badly they've mutilated it. My childhood.
What
I say that, but I wasn't even born when it originally aired.
Well, But
there's that. But
right.
We all grew up with it, though. I mean, it was still a thing.
Right. What I don't like of all 4 of the series, and I looked at some of the renderings or whatever for all of them. I don't like the Flintstones one.
I didn't see the rendering for the Flintstones one.
It does not look like them. I mean, it looks more realistic.
I don't know. I'm a little bothered by the Wacky Raceland reboot. Here also taking cues from Mad Max.
Yeah.
I mean, these are Hanna-Barbera series that were kids of all ages could watch. And just throwing the words Mad Max into this.
Oh my.
Just all of a sudden go, it's not for kids anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Scooby Apocalypse, kind of going back to that.
Oh God, for a second I thought Fred was smoking something. New definition of Stone Age.
Oh man, yeah, that's something.
It kind of looks like
no
Archie.
A little bit.
Yeah.
The animation for sure.
Betty and Veronica instead of
Betty and Wilma.
Betty and Wilma, thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.
I'm not gonna lie. This picture, Betty is smoking hot right now. As far as comic book characters go, and Wilma's not too far off either.
You're gonna see so many people cosplaying as them.
Also, I never pegged Fred as like a muscular man.
Right.
I always kind of like felt on the same level with him because I was just a big man, a big dude, In this case, he's just a muscular. He's just
big boned.
And there's Barney, who just looks like an idiot, which works for me. Honestly, if you're gonna try to make it realistic, that works.
Yeah.
The one I had the biggest problem with, of course, is
Fred.
That's not Fred Flintstone. That's some wrestler. It's Bane. That's who it is. I'm gonna strap that mask on him. It's Bane. That's all I can see.
Yabba dabba doo.
Oh God, not that Bane. That's not the one I was talking about. How about ruining things? Let's move on.
Yes. We are going to stick with DC for another story. And kind of going along with reboots and everything. It seems like DC Comics is relaunching again this summer. In June, Bleeding Cool broke the story or whatever. They're going to have a relaunch of all DC Comics. Well, I don't know about all DC Comics, but getting a new number ones. It's going to be dominated with titles like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad. Basically, if you have a TV show or a movie, you're going to get tons of DC airtime or whatever.
Okay.
And it's being billed as a reboot. Rebirth, which is interesting because they've had both the Flash rebirth and Green Lantern reboot, which brought back Barry Allen and Hal Jordan from the dead.
Yeah, I caught that too.
You said reboot.
Did I?
Yeah. You said rebirth, and then this reboot. I'm like, all right.
Hey, at least I didn't say .
Well, you know.
Fair enough.
No, so here's my question: Are they gonna make these like to go with the TV shows? I mean, we're gonna do animation, or I say animation. I'm in video mode. Are they gonna like the illustrators and the artists gonna draw it like the people on the show, or
not necessarily? What they want. I read this interview with Dan DiDio, and he wants the comics to lead, not follow.
Okay.
So it's going to focus heavy on, like your Batmans and your Arrows and whatnot, but it's not necessarily going to be, hey, this is what happened last week on Arrow.
I guess my problem is
shouldn't it already be doing that?
Right. My problem is, okay, if we're going to do that, does that mean we're going to be saying, well, this is what's going to happen next week on Arrow?
I kind of feel like it's going to be just in name only.
Okay.
Now, here's part of my confusion. Okay, now, Marvel did their whole Secret Wars, completely scrapped everything, started over, more or less, to some degree. DC did their Convergence deal that started right before Secret Wars did, ended way before Secret Wars did, and then they kind of started over too, even though the numbering system for most of their comics did not. So if they just did kind of a restart, why are we doing a reboot again?
That's my question too.
Now, I'm kind of going to jump ship here because I know you've got this other story about one of the guys writing Batman. Okay, I'm going to pull this into.
Okay.
Because this story makes me so upset. Scott Snyder, who is writing Batman comic right now, I guess he's been writing it
since the New 52 started.
So what'd they say, 2011, I think I saw?
Yeah.
Okay, granted, a long time to be writing any one comic. I had been wanting to read a Batman comic for a long time. With Convergence ending, that kicking back off seemed like a good jumping off point for me. So I've picked up Batman. Really enjoying it. Really upset that he's leaving this comic, and now they're going to do this, reboot, rebirth thing. I mean, I finally found a DC comic. I'm not a DC guy. Never have been. So to finally find a DC comic I enjoy, I really look forward to getting and reading, and now I'm just like, I feel like I'm going to give up on it.
Well, Scott Snyder, he's leaving the Batman title, but he's not completely leaving Batman because he's going to be working on Detective Comics.
Right.
From what I've been reading, part of the reason for that is when this whole rebirth thing happens, a lot of DC's titles are going to start going bi-monthly, which irks me, but that's a different story. And Batman being one of those.
Right, I saw that as well.
Well, does that mean they're going to be longer?
No, they're just going to do 2 issues a month instead of 1.
Oh, I followed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I heard bi-monthly and thought every 2 months.
Yeah.
That originally I did too, and then
Okay. So why does that bother you so much?
Because, hey, DC, have more of my money.
Touche.
That's...
Well,
and I feel like that's what it is. It's a money grab.
The question then comes in, what kind of a product are we putting out if we're putting out twice as many now?
Exactly.
That's a tough call.
Yeah. And depending on, which ones they do decide to go bi-monthly, which I haven't seen, a definitive list yet.
Batman's the only one I know for sure they said is going to go bi-monthly. Everything else, at this point, is still up in the air.
Yeah. But if that's the case, for me, that's not going to make me want to go and buy, those as well as the others that I read. That's going to make me really consider what DC titles I currently pull and decide, well, which ones are really worth it.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I think what's going to end up happening is just that you're going to see a drop in numbers across the board, whereas you're going to probably end up selling maybe a few more comics, but not as many as you're hoping by putting out too many 2 issues a month.
Right. Yeah. And the ones that will suffer, in my opinion, would probably be the ones that are already on the lower end that people are going to drop because I have to read Batman.
Right.
So I have to give up Dr. Fate or, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough call.
So, a little more comics news, but we're actually going to shift to Marvel. Last week, Deadpool introduced Deadpool 2099, which was a parody of Spider-Man 2099 and all those from the 90s. Turns out that issue is doing really well on eBay and things like that. It's currently selling for anywhere between $7.99, $10.
Really?
Yeah.
I hadn't looked.
Which is fairly interesting. And I guess because of, and maybe they already knew that this was going to happen, Deadpool 2099 is going to alternate with the ongoing Deadpool comics. So after every Deadpool arc, you're going to get a single issue Deadpool 2099 story.
Which I have not read the newest Deadpool. I picked it up, but I haven't read it yet, so I didn't realize that it was Deadpool 2099. But it definitely makes me more interested to, pick that one up and read it and see.
I'm in the process of moving and everything right now, so my comic reading I'm so far behind on everything. But I kind of had a feeling that Deadpool 2099 was going to be an important one, so that moved up to the top of my line, and I read that one, and it was okay.
Yeah.
I had some questions in the first few pages that were kind of answered, but not really.
I guess part of the reason I didn't realize it is because I didn't end up with the regular cover. I ended up with the variant, which is part of that 21 issue.
Yeah.
One the cover is the comic. So I didn't realize that there was a sub story going on in the issue, because that didn't have anything to do with the cover.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
All right, so enough comics news for now. Matt, you had a story about X-Files.
Yeah, I've kind of been itching to talk about X-Files since I found out it was being rebooted, and I was just waiting for a reason to talk about it, aside from the fact that it actually did relaunch last weekend. So
I think you meant reboot.
Reboot?
Yes.
The rebooting?
It did reboot.
It rebooted with 2 episodes, one on Sunday, one on Monday.
Which, from what I understand, threw a lot of people off.
I'm not real sure why. I mean, just set up your DVR to record the series, and ta-da! Hey, look, there's 2 episodes.
Yeah, true.
Well, it only throws me off because people have done it before, but it's usually one right after another on the same night. 2-hour, series premiere. And
I think the reason for that was the first issue debuted on Sunday. The first episode issue was Sunday night, because that was when X-Files aired during its original run. Was Sunday nights.
I gotcha.
Oh. So that was to kind of be reminiscent of, hey, this is X-Files. Exactly. So Monday nights are when the episodes are going to air for the other 4 weeks for the next month, until the 6 episodes is over. But with the reboot of X-Files, you created a thing here.
I did.
Unintentionally.
I'm a trendsetter. Didn't you know this?
Hashtag reboot. So they were talking to Chris Carter, who's the creator and writer of X-Files. And he actually admitted that during their original run, he had someone come up to him, and they said that they worked in a high place in a secret government agency, which, take that with a grain of salt. And he was told that at that time they were very close to the truth. So he was worried that they were actually going to get shut down because his conspiracy theory guessed too close to the secret hidden government truth about aliens.
What's your take on all that?
Like I said, take it with a grain of salt that this person even worked for the government. I mean, hell, you can dress up in a suit and pretend you work for, the government, 6 days of the week, and nobody know really different.
Well, Supernatural, if anything, has taught us that. Have you guys watched Supernatural?
I've not.
Yeah. I watched the first couple seasons. It's been a long time since I've watched.
Like 9 out of 10 times they investigate crimes by posing as FBI agents. Nobody asks anything.
Right.
They're just like, whatever. Okay, yeah. All right, come on. Seriously?
So, I don't know. Yeah, take it with a grain of salt. I'd like to think that in some ways it was kind of true, but I am a huge X-Files geek, and I love the show, and the whole alien government conspiracy thing was absolutely phenomenal and well thought out and put together. So, to think that they might have actually been onto something, even if it was just a grain of sand in on the beach of whatever this conspiracy may be. It's still kind of cool idea.
Well, later on in that article, it did say that he got a phone call from the FBI, and it said like, "Who are you and what are you doing?" And so maybe,
yeah, but if you're the FBI, you know who he is and you know what he's doing.
True.
I mean, in its 10-year run, it was probably one of the biggest shows on TV. And I think everybody that has watched X-Files, has watched the series, has watched more than say a season's worth, knows who Chris Carter is and knows he was behind it. So
true. All right, Pickett, you're going to talk about Tabitha's story because she says she's sick, but I think she's just playing hooky.
Yeah, I bet you that's what's going on too. Now, so we're going to talk about the DeLorean. Now, of course, we all know what the DeLorean is. It's well, at least we all know what the DeLorean is, being the vehicle that was used as the time-traveling car in Back to the Future. So that's it. That's the thing. So it was a little late for a Back to the Future 2 tie-in, but that didn't stop DeLorean Motors for relaunching their line of cars. After 35 years, they're bringing back the DeLorean. They're only going to bring back about 300 cars. They're going to retail at about $100,000 a piece. Best part is they are going to bring back the original 1985 or 82 DeLorean.
So the original body style.
Yes. So
they will sell in a heartbeat.
Oh, they'll be gone. 300, yeah.
I'm going to buy 3 of them. So
well,
yeah.
One for the 3 of us, of course.
Yeah, totally.
I'm down.
I want one that comes with the little trash fuel thing on the back.
Oh yeah, the Mr.
So you can just feed it garbage and
yes,
takes fuel and off it goes. I'm still going to be disappointed in it because I know it's not going to fly.
That's true.
It's also not going to travel through time.
What?
As long as it goes 88 miles per hour, I'm cool.
Right. Well,
the second these things get out, they're going to be at least 300 new speeding tickets for 88 miles.
Sir, you're going 88 and a 55.
I know it.
And I'm still here, damn it.
And now I'm saying some serious shit.
Where's Doc Brown when you need him?
Check the clock tower.
We don't even have a clock tower.
That could cause a problem.
Yeah. I mean, kind of. I mean, there's like that big clock that's on top of that Union Station right by the Presidential Library.
There is that.
Yeah.
If you hit the lights, you might be able to get to 88.
Right.
Now what we need to do is run a line from the top of the clock tower across the street.
And there's that parking garage. We could get it done.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Just after the show, guys, or?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, we're missing something.
Oh.
Yeah, the DeLorean.
Yeah.
Crap.
Well, I mean, we could just have like a practice run with one of our cars. And
you know what? We'll take mine. My car will be the car. Hey,
got a wire coat hanger?
I have a few.
Okay. We'll need that for the little connector.
Right. I wanted to... before we got too far away from comic book news, I wanted to plug the DC's Legends of Tomorrow. They had their first episode last week.
I assumed you watched it.
I did.
Was it any good?
I thought it was fantastic.
Okay.
Now, mind you, I enjoy all of the new DC shows.
Right, and I was going to ask you about that because I know you watch the rest of them, and I had seen the preview for this one. Looked pretty cool, but at the same time, I don't watch any of the others except for Gotham. Right. So
yeah, I
didn't know if I was going to be, if the learning curve was going to be too steep to.
They did really well with it. They essentially just said, all right, here are these characters that are already established. Okay, that's out of the way.
Okay.
And then they just kind of go into kind of introducing them. Not really, you try to, I'll be honest, there are some things you have to be like, what's the thing? I don't understand who this person is or what they're doing. So it does help to watch, but unfortunately, we're talking characters like Hawkman and Hawkgirl came out in an episode a couple months ago.
Okay.
So that was easy. The White Canary, that was a little more difficult. That was last season. Okay. Now, of course, they tied all of it in. Everybody who did something with either the Flash or the Green Arrow, they tied everything together.
Okay.
Everybody was in on this episode. All 3 shows. So they do really, really fun crossovers. Where the Flash will be in an entire episode of Green Arrow, and the Green Arrow will be in an entire episode of the Flash.
Right. They're gonna make that a yearly thing, right?
That's
what I thought. I'd
positive. They've done it one full time. This year they did the Legends of Yesterday and the Legends of Today,
which led into the Legends of Tomorrow.
Right. Now that was several weeks ago. But that's what they used to introduce Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
Okay.
And then, so it was pretty fun. It was a lot of fun. So I really got into it. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. So I can't wait for my next episode tonight.
Nice. Yeah, I had DVR'd that, and I got home last week, and I started to watch it, and for whatever reason, like, it kept... like the feed or whatever kept cutting out.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I waited for about I watched 5 minutes of it or whatever just to see if maybe it would just get out of it and it never did, and I was like, ah. And so I meant to check on demand or Hulu or something.
It was online. At least part 1 of the 2-part premiere was online, which is where I was going to watch it, but then
well, and that's all they showed last week was part 1.
Oh, was it?
So
okay.
At least on Thursday night.
So that would have been it. Okay.
Yeah. So they did break up the first, the pilot into 2 parts, and that's 2 episodes. But even so, it's been pretty good.
Nice. So, all right. So before we maybe talk about this next story, I think it'd be kind of a fun conversation to have beforehand, because this is a huge spoiler for The Force Awakens. When can we start talking about The Force Awakens spoilers? It's been over a month.
Right.
And
I mean, it's made $1.9 billion worldwide. If you haven't seen it by now, shame on you.
I'd venture to say by our name that if they're listening to the show, they've seen the movie.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. Man, I'm not that asshole driving around with, that sticker on the back of his Cherokee.
Right.
You seen that picture?
No.
Yeah.
Well, if we're going to talk spoilers, then I can go ahead and talk about it.
Perhaps we should hold on to this story until the end of the show. Make it the last story we talk about.
Okay.
And we can give a spoiler alert. They can sign off at that point if they want.
Okay.
It's kind of how we do on the
Fair
movie
enough.
show. So let's hold on to this because I do want to talk about it. And I'll be honest, I'm ready to spoil the crap out of it.
All right.
But not yet. We're not going to do that now. Keep listening.
Later.
Go on.
All right. So, Matt, you've got another story, and it's kind of a shame that Chuck's not here for it.
I was just thinking that too, because it would be so much better if Chuck were here. But I guess we could still talk about the Drone Racing League.
I saw that, by the way.
Did you watch the video?
I had actually seen it a couple days ago.
The video is freaking cool.
The video was neat.
I mean, that's what makes me excited about it is the video. I mean, watching these drones fly around, the upper level seats of Dolphin Stadium, going through those green, boxes. I mean, that's cool. But when it dives into the tunnel and starts going through the concourse, That's freaking cool, especially with
honestly,
the camera being on the nose of this thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's just it. That's what's going to make this a thing.
Right.
It's not the fact that it's happening and it's flying around a stadium. It's the fact that it does all this other stuff and there's cameras involved.
Yeah.
Do I think like the thing I read or the video I think said something about you know thousands of fans crowding the stadium. I don't know about that.
That's what they're hoping for. I mean, they're hoping that at some point this could be as big as say NASCAR, where you pack these gigantic stadiums full of people to watch these things go round and round and round.
Right.
But of course, again, just like NASCAR, it's not the best part, but it is the best part. Are the crashes?
Right.
If this drone pilot, misses a turn and crashes into a pylon, and this thing explodes into 1,000 tiny pieces.
Right. No, that's what I would. I'm like, I want to see somebody crash. Here's my question: how big are these drones?
I think they said they're about a foot long.
So I mean, they're not the biggest drones in the world.
No,
they do seem pretty fast.
Said 70 miles an hour?
Very fast.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I could be completely making no right here. Yeah, 70 miles an hour around tight corners and narrow straightaways. Yeah, and they're roughly a foot long each.
Wow.
Now at this point, all of the drones are made by the Drone Racing League for the pilots, so that they all are the same. So unlike race car, NASCAR, where the teams build their own cars and bring them to the track and have to fit specifications.
Right.
These are all done the same by the league, and then the pilots are the ones that are like hired and brought in to race these.
So here's my question: how will they look? It's easy enough to kind of on NASCAR to watch and see who's in first place. Drone racing, not so much.
No, part of that is because the way that they've got this set up is they race in heats. And then it's done by a time. Like it's timed.
See, I don't know about that.
See, now sitting and watching it like in the stadium, yeah, I don't care. But having seen the clip of in the video, yeah, I mean, the next race is in an abandoned mall in LA.
That's kind of cool.
In a month. Am I going to look for that video online? Yeah, probably.
Are you going to go to LA to watch it live?
No.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah. Speaking of drones, I don't know if you guys saw this, but a baseball team in DuPage is actually has been named or whatever the DuPage Drones. It's part of the Prospect League, which actually includes the Springfield Sliders, and they'll play each other later on this year. The DuPage Drones plays at Benedictine University in Lisle, but a quote from the team's owner says that our older fans may scratch their head wondering about drones as a name, but if you ask parents of young kids, you will surely be aware of the drone status as a viral sensation and a recreational device. That's all well and good.
So they're hoping to pull the kids in.
Yeah. But that's still just an odd mascot to have.
The only remote-controlled mascot out there.
True.
I don't...
Maybe they just need to be sponsored by the Drone Racing League.
Maybe
that's what they're going for.
Could fly them around the stadium during, 7th inning stretch.
Do you think that they'll have like free drone giveaways or something? Because I would go for that.
Yeah, but once you pick up your free drone, you have to stop at the desk and register with the FAA.
Well, there's that.
Right.
But no big, right?
Nah.
And you have to be 18 or older.
I mean, you can pre-register, I'm sure, right?
Oh, yeah. No. That would be efficient and make sense.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So as we've kind of talked about in past shows, there's becoming a con for everything. We've talked about BronyCon. There was another...
That was an amazing discussion.
It really was. But this past weekend was the first ever Broadway Con.
I can't believe I missed that.
Yeah,
I didn't even hear anything about it.
Yeah. Even with that huge blizzard that New York had over the weekend, 6,000 people this article says from around the world went to Broadway Con. They interviewed people as far away from Jacksonville, Florida, and Oakland, California, coming to New York for this.
What exactly is the draw for Broadway Con?
Well, originally they were going to have Broadway stars like Darren Criss, Jeremy Jordan, but they couldn't make it because of all the travel delays and everything like that. So one thing that they did have, which I actually kind of thought was cool for this, the organizers cold called celebrity talent and talked to them on speakerphone and FaceTime for all the fans, like in the main room or whatever, to
That's kind of cool.
participate in.
Okay.
But what I would like to know though is how many people cosplayed, and what was the biggest cosplay at Broadway Con?
That's a good question.
Phantom of the Opera.
Right.
I really hope, because every con that I've been to has had like 100 Deadpools. So I really, in my heart, I really hope that there was a Deadpool just walking around Broadway Con and just maybe saying like randomly, "I'm in the wrong place."
Deadpool breaking the fourth wall at Broadway Con.
I'm actually searching right now because I have to know if there was any cosplay at Broadway Con. I mean,
not that cosplay at other cons isn't serious, but considering the makeup and the and the costuming for Broadway productions, I can only imagine that this would be on the same level.
Oh yeah, I mean at other cons it's just like, oh hey, I'm dressed up like the Pink Power Ranger or whatever, but this person would be full on in character.
Oh yeah,
like they would only answer to Elphaba or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So while Pickett's looking that up, a little bit of Doctor Who news. It's official. Stephen Moffat is leaving after the next series. They already have a new showrunner in place. It's Chris Chibral, who created Broadchurch.
Which that'll be cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't watched Broadchurch, but my wife is a huge fan and loves it. So I can only imagine, having worked with David Tennant, it should follow pretty well.
Yeah.
From one to the other.
And
I may know it's two different genres, but
right. Yeah, I mean, one of those two shows is really dark. I'm not going to say which one. But as much as I enjoy Moffat's work, I think it is time for a change.
how long has he been showrunner?
Well, since series 5.
Okay, so I'm still finishing up season series 4.
Yeah.
So I actually wouldn't have seen any of his.
No, because you're still on Donna, right?
Yeah, well, technically. I mean, I'm
Well,
on
yeah.
the last 2 David Tennant episodes, which
Yeah.
yeah.
When Matt Smith takes over, that's when Moffat takes over.
Okay.
So,
Which, okay, I gotta, again, pull in another story here. Every month, Netflix publishes their list of things that are coming and going. A number of times, Doctor Who has been on that list. BBC America has been able to re-up the contract and everything's cool. Apparently, this time that's not going to happen.
yes, it is.
Yes?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
For sure?
For sure.
Because I keep hearing conflicting reports, and I'm not going to lie. this is very upsetting for me. Like, very upsetting, because I really want to continue watching. And I don't know any other way to do that, and I'm not going to fork over the $50 per season on DVD when I haven't seen it.
Right. From what I read even this afternoon, because I was aware of that story and I was thinking about including it tonight, but I want to say I saw this on Nerdist, where the original talk was BBC is starting their own like streaming service or whatever for all of their shows.
Right.
And the reason why Doctor Who was going to get pulled off of Netflix because they were going to put it on
their streaming service.
Yes. But I guess Doctor Who is the only BBC show that's not going to be there, so it's going to stay on Netflix and Hulu and yeah.
Okay. Well, if you hear a gigantic scream from my house come February 1st, you'll know that it was actually pulled.
Right on. I will keep an ear out for that.
So I did look up cosplay at BroadwayCon, and not gonna lie,
It's pretty serious, huh?
no.
No?
Well, I mean, yes.
Oh.
I mean, definitely a lot of Elphabas and Glindas, and then a lot of Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, yeah, I kind of called that one.
And cats.
Yeah, I can see cats.
I hate cats.
I've
I've never seen the musical.
You just hate
honestly.
cats in general?
I'm just not a cat person.
Yeah.
So people dressed up as cats just I have zero interest in that.
It's fair. I can't blame you for this.
Anyway.
All right. So there are like 2.5, 3 big stories I want to make sure that we talk about, but then there are also these other 3 stories that I want to go through kind of quickly. All right.
Sounds good.
So the first one.
Is this the quick or is this the long?
No, the long ones we're saving for last.
Okay.
All right. So
I want to know how much I needed to comment or not.
So the first one, during the NBA's All-Star Weekend, Toronto International Film Festival is going to have a live read of Space Jam in honor of Space Jam's 20th anniversary, which Space Jam is 20 years old.
Those are the kinds of things I don't need to know. And when I mention those kinds of things at home, I get a dirty look from the other side of the couch. So thank you for that, Mitch.
This live read is going to feature talent from the sports and entertainment world, but no word on who is going to be there.
So Michael Jordan probably won't be reading Michael Jordan.
Probably not.
That's definitely not worth it.
We can still hold out hope. Matt, you had a story about Blade Runner.
So in the midst of all of the world of reboots and restarts,
Reboots.
Blade Runner 2 has been a rumor for quite a while that it's happening, going to happen, who's connected, etc. It looks like that Blade Runner 2, at least the current, working title, is going to start filming in July. Ryan Gosling is attached as the star, and apparently Harrison Ford will be returning to reprise his role as Deckard. So, Ridley Scott is not directing, he's producing, but he says that the script is damn good.
Damn good.
Yes.
All
That
right.
was a direct quote from him. So, I don't know. Another classic that I'm not sure should be tampered with, but I will reserve judgment for now.
I mean, Harrison Ford is kind of 1 for 1 in terms of the franchise reboot thing.
Well, let's put it this way: if Star Wars is any indication, I know what's going to happen in Blade Runner 2.
Oh, wah.
So, without spoiler alert.
So, it's happened with the second and the third Transformers movies, but the 5th Transformers movie will also film in Chicago.
Sweet.
Yeah, it'll be they'll be doing that later this year, I think, because it's going to have a 2017 release.
I love stuff like that when it films in Chicago. And most of that just comes from the fact that I grew up in the south suburbs, and I have been to the city more times than I can count. So there's scenes in movies that are shot in Chicago, which locales that I've been to, seen, places that I've walked, places I've been. You get in Batman: The Dark Knight when he's driving down, which actually is two different streets when they cut the film, but that's a whole different story. He's driving down LaSalle on the Bat bike, and he turns a corner and he goes down a ramp and ends up on Lower Wacker. The ramp that he takes, I walked by every day for a year when I worked downtown, which is cool. Like, it's cool to know where that ramp is. It's cool to know that they shot there. It's cool to know the different streets. So, when they do Transformers, it's just going to kind of be reminiscent for me again, just to kind of see what they use.
Like, you really need an excuse to see Transformers.
I don't, because at least Michael Bay's going to blow shit up. I feel like we've talked about that before.
We have.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that is always cool to see things like that. And I don't have that exact
frame of reference.
Yeah. But it is always cool when, because, oh gosh, was it Batman Begins or The Dark Knight? One of the two. But I was in Chicago around the time when they were filming.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I was just up for like a weekend or whatever. So I was always like kind of excited and kind of, like on high. Yeah, I was on high alert. I was like, oh, am I gonna see Batman? Is this gonna happen?
Well, yeah. I got to throw this out there just because this is a fun kind of memory. At one point when I still lived up there, my wife and I had gone downtown for, I don't even remember what, but we ended up walking by Merchandise Mart, walking down the street and see this parking lot full of all of these old cars. Figure something's going on, some sort of movie, something. Keep walking, find out that this bridge that was right there, and I can't remember exactly the bridge, what street it was. The bridge is closed off for filming. Keep walking, there's a big restaurant. There's security standing outside the restaurant. Apparently a number of the stars from this film were having lunch in the restaurant. They were filming Road to Perdition.
Oh, wow.
So it was just kind of cool, and then to see it on film, put pieces together. I don't know, just a fun memory.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So, this was actually a story that we almost talked about a couple weeks ago, but then we started running low on time and I skipped it. And I'm kind of glad I did, because now there's a second person that's doing this. A couple weeks ago, Tila Tequila, who you might remember from MySpace, went on a
wow.
She went on a Twitter rant about how the Earth is flat.
Oh, what?
Yes. I'm going to quote this article that I read. It's from New York Magazine. It's by Brian Feldman, talking about Tila Tequila. It says, this is according to Tila Tequila, the model, porn star, juggalette, erstwhile Nazi, and living monument to the ancient lost culture of MySpace.
Wow.
Which I didn't know that she was a juggalette. I mean, I didn't think that she could lose any more points, but she lost more points.
It only makes sense.
But yeah, so her rationale in a series of tweets says, it's 2016 and nobody's been able to prove to me that the Earth is round. Where is the curvature in the horizon? Hashtag flat Earth, prove me wrong, damn it. And just for the record, when I said to prove to me, I was throwing out the...
I really just want to bang my head against the microphone.
I know, right?
Yeah. Oh, but it gets better. Why are all the buildings in NYC standing straight up? If Earth was round, then some of the buildings would have a slight tilt. Hashtag flat Earth. If the Earth
so stupid it hurts.
If the Earth was a spinning globe, then how come airplanes could still land without crashing? Because the face of the Earth is flat, not a globe.
I legitimately can't right now.
I can't even.
Can't even. Yes.
So part of this is thanks to the flat Earth movement, which is a thing, surprisingly. In fact, there's a petition on change.org where where the Flat Earth Society wrote, "We ask Google to recognize this movement, which has trended over 600% in the last 12 months, by marking January 1st, 2016 as the anniversary of the Flat Earth movement and changing the Google Doodle image appropriately." Yeah. So
I really... these people just need to keep walking and keep going and walk right off the edge of this flat Earth. Then tell me what happens.
But as they're falling off, they'll be like, "See, I was right."
But they're not here anymore, and that's all that matters.
So there was another celebrity who's chiming in on this. Rapper B.O.B. also says that the Earth is flat. Yeah. Yeah, he began tweeting images. This was on Sunday evening, I think. Began tweeting images and diagrams that's he said were proof that the Earth is as flat as a record. So, yeah. But everyone's favorite astronomer, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's an astronomer, right?
I have no idea.
Astrophysicist?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Anyway, well, everyone's
smart dude.
Right.
Everyone's favorite smart dude, Neil deGrasse Tyson, threw out there. He was basically trying to let B.O.B. know that, hey, no, this is why you think that it's flat, but it's really not. And so B.O.B. then countered that with a song called Flatline. And he even calls out Neil deGrasse Tyson. And let me see if I can find a quote from the song.
The fact that he was able to produce this song that quickly just gives a...
Well, thankfully, Neil deGrasse Tyson has a nephew who is also a rapper. And he came to his uncle's defense and put out Flat to Fact. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Rap
so
battle.
Jeez.
So yeah. In Flatline, he insists that Neil Tyson needs to loosen up his vest, and asks why NASA is part of the Department of Defense. Spoiler alert: NASA is not part of the Department of Defense.
This was the point I was trying to make about how quickly he produced this song. The level of intelligence is...
But still to kind of class up the Twitter feud or whatever, Neil did try to kind of smooth things over with saying "dude" with 2 U's. To be clear, being 5 centuries regressed in your reasoning doesn't mean that we can't still like your music. So
well played. That's amazing.
So I'm so glad that we held on to that story. But,
It just hurts. It hurts my brain.
Yeah.
I just don't understand people who think things like that. I mean, I love a good conspiracy theory, but come on now. So
I can't believe that's a thing. Like,
Yeah, there's a society. Flat Earth Society. Is that Flat Earth Society?
yeah, there's actually there are a couple of different ones, and there's a YouTube channel devoted to the whole flat Earth thing, and I saw it earlier, but the name escapes me. But there's like a 2-hour documentary on YouTube about how the Earth is flat.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
That is the sound of me banging my head against my mic.
So are you guys ready to talk about Star Wars
yes!
spoilers?
Oh, please.
God, yes. All right, so before we get into this, let it be known that this is going to be a massive Star Wars Fork Awakens.
You want to try and reboot that?
I'm pretty sure in like 5 months we're gonna hear a song from Weird Al called "The Fork Awakens."
I'd be okay with that.
Right?
Massive Star Wars The Force Awakens spoiler is about to be revealed right now. So if you don't like spoilers, go ahead and turn it off now. Don't forget to check us out next week, same time, same place, and we'll be back. But for those of you still listening, let's talk Star Wars spoilers.
Okay, there's two, and Matt, you actually had one about Kevin Smith.
Oh, yeah. So the list of actors and actresses that wanted to have cameos in The Force Awakens, it just continues to grow. I don't know how much you guys have read about it, but it has been confirmed that Daniel Craig, James Bond, was the stormtrooper that Rey mind controlled.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, and left her with the restraints open and walked out the door and dropped his gun. Yes, that was Daniel Craig.
That's hilarious.
Wasn't his stormtrooper name like 007 or something?
I don't
that
remember
would have
that
been
for sure.
amazing.
It had a James Bond-esque name.
It did. And I found that out before seeing Star Wars the second time. And watching it the second time, you listen to his voice. It is absolutely his voice. Whether it's him in the suit, whatever. But that is definitely him speaking the lines.
Okay.
Now, another one has been revealed. Kevin Smith did a voice for a stormtrooper.
Yeah?
Yes.
Nice.
So, pretty awesome. Especially when, guys that known, in our universe to be that geeky get to be a part of something like that. I think that's just cool.
Yeah. I'm just kind of offended that we weren't offered cameos or whatever.
Actually, I was. But I went ahead and turned it down because you guys weren't.
Oh, thanks, dog.
Aw.
No, I'm just kidding. I was not offered a role.
I'm pretty sure we all knew you were kidding.
Well, I just wanted to make it clear. I mean, I'm a pretty big deal, I know. But apparently not that big of a deal.
We will be soon.
That's right.
So, all right. So this is just a fan theory, but it's kind of a cool fan theory, and it's something to maybe ponder. But there's let's see, Mini Y Media put out this YouTube video that suggests that Rey is actually the reincarnation of Anakin Skywalker.
So maybe not. Spoiler alert. Maybe not what we're thinking about Rey being Luke's daughter.
Right.
But more reincarnated Anakin. I could see that.
Yeah. And a couple of the points that they alluded to or whatever, when Rey found Anakin / Luke's lightsaber, it kind of suggested that the lightsaber was calling to her, not because of the Skywalker heritage, but because it's like, hey, it's me, your old lightsaber,
Right.
And also there were parallels, which, I mean, there were a lot of parallels in Episode 7 regardless, but between Anakin and Rey, both grew up in the desert, both had, they're both really good with machines, good with droids, things like that. And also, and one other thing, when Jesus, what is with me tonight?
We're all having. I mean, I call it the Fork Awakens.
Matt's been the only one on top of things.
I mean, look,
You got pick it. You got the tagline.
I was just about to say I got the tagline for the show today. So
It's all downhill from there.
I'm feeling pretty good about that at least.
But when Rey first grabbed Luke Skywalker or Luke's lightsaber, when she saw the visions and the flashbacks and everything, this suggested that it was possible that it was her own memories that were being released
Projected.
or whatever.
There's some credence to that theory. I don't know. The only thing that makes me skeptical of that is that no one else, as far as we know in the Star Wars universe, has been reincarnated.
True, but at the same time, even though we've had Star Wars for however many years now, at least in terms of the movies, and if you want to say that like some of the animated, the Clone Wars or whatever series, if you want to count that as part of canon or whatever, but even so, there's so little that we know about Star Wars. So who's to say that it's not?
True.
Yeah, it could be a Force thing.
And that is definitely one of the eternal draws of Star Wars, is that as much as you know and as many stories as you learn, there's always more.
Right.
You watch Episode 7, you go through the whole movie, and, you get done, and, well, at least I did. I got done, and I was thinking about the whole thing, and I'm like, I really want to know more about Maz.
Yeah. Which originally Maz was supposed to have like a couple other scenes, but they got cut.
Yeah,
That
scenes that
sucks.
show her as a Force user.
That was one thing I'd heard and I'd read about. So that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
To say the least.
But aside from those rumors, there's always characters that you run across in these films, in the Star Wars universe. It's like, damn, I really want to know. I really want to know their story. I guess that's true. There's more that so much we don't know, even with what we do know.
I'm still hoping for, after we get the Han Solo movie and the Boba Fett movie, I want to see Akbar get promoted to Admiral. I want to see his story.
Well, the story obviously comes to a screeching halt because it's 30 years later and he doesn't get a promotion.
Yeah. That's just, I don't know. I feel that's racist.
It's sad.
Here,
Fish lives matter.
Jeez. Really?
Sorry.
So here's my question. You mentioned a sticker, and I know this is going to be a massive spoiler, but I got to know what the sticker says on this guy's car.
It says Han Solo dies.
Oh.
Yep. And it's not just
Mitch, that he. No, this was just that they were joking about. We were joking about this. That the guy took the whole weekend off when the movie came out and drove around the city that he lives.
Yeah, I think we were just joking about that.
Yeah. I could see that happening. Yeah. Kind of asshole that puts that on the back of his car, though.
But no, this is and this isn't just like a little sticker or whatever. It's like a huge decal that
entire back windshield.
Entire back windshield.
Oh my gosh. Why would someone do that?
Some people just like to watch the world burn.
That's got to be the only reason.
But I mean, I'm sure this is the same guy that trolls 4chan and whatever. Maybe this guy is the elusive 4chan. I'm sure you guys have seen that CNN clip from forever ago.
I have not.
Oh yeah, this was I feel like it was like some story to do with like Anonymous or something, and 4chan was brought up, and the anchor kept referring to 4chan as a person, not a website.
A good old 4chan.
Right.
We call him 2x2 here. It's his nickname. We kind of go with it.
Nickname? I mean, 2x2 is longer than 4chan.
It's a nickname.
Nicknames are usually shorter.
Really?
I mean, not always, I guess, but
I mean,
kind of the purpose of a nickname.
Yeah.
I've been referred to as the Golden God. It's easier just to say Pickhead.
Whoever referred you as the Golden God, I mean, did they like lose a bet or something to call you that?
No. Okay. In all fairness, there is actually a guy who does radio stuff with us who refers to me as the Golden God. He thinks everything I touch turns to gold, or he refers to me as Midas Pickett, which is not my favorite name. I actually really hate the Golden God thing. I am not a Golden God. Trust me. I wish everything I touched turned to gold. My favorite nickname is Lemony Pickett. But
I forgot. I'll have to add that story for next week.
Oh.
The Lemony Snicket reboot for Netflix.
Oh, yeah, I did hear about that.
did you guys see the fan-made trailer for that?
No.
Oh my god, it was epic. It looked legit. I actually thought it was an actual Netflix trailer.
Nice.
I'll show it to you before you leave. Anyways.
Yeah. I think we're done. I mean, we are in the spoiler, area. So, I mean, is there anything else that you guys want to spoil?
I can go get some milk.
I think you meant Star Wars.
Or, anything. I mean, I'm sure there's still somebody out there that didn't know that Bruce Willis was dead in The Sixth Sense.
What? Seriously, I fell asleep at the end of that movie. Are you serious?
Uh-oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Funny story, I've never seen that movie.
Well, at least you know the spoiler.
Yeah.
Kind of takes the fun out of it, though.
Yeah. But see, the thing with spoilers for me is that I'm really bad about watching movies, which both of you guys know. And so when I do get spoiled, it's just kind of like, well, it's my own fault. I always wanted to see The Sixth Sense. I just never got around to it. And then just out of nowhere, I hear, oh, yeah, oh, well, okay. Cool. And I move on with my life.
You save yourself 2 hours, I guess.
Yeah. Now, I mean, if it's something that I'm passionate enough about to where I don't want to know spoilers, I'm going to make it a point to read or watch, that product as soon as possible.
Right. Speaking of watching something as soon as possible, are you guys planning to see Deadpool the night it comes out?
Oh, absolutely.
I probably won't get there the night it comes out, but as soon as possible.
It'll definitely be that weekend if it's not that night.
I was just wondering because we of course do the movie show, and we're thinking about maybe seeing about doing another one that night. But we'll see what happens.
That was fun that night.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
So, and on the bright side, if you're living closer to here now,
that is true.
So there's that.
And in warmer weather, I can walk down here.
Well,
be a little bit of a jaunt, but it's not gonna be that bad.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't, but I don't walk anywhere.
Yeah. I love to walk places. But anyway, let's stop this show.
Right. All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. We will catch you next week. Everybody say bye.
Bye.